I mean, it's live now. Now it's working. So at least the mic's working. Just letting y'all know.
Party on.
Oh, but it's...
Sorry for the black background, guys. I couldn't get the picture uploaded for whatever reason. But if y'all want to see Robert, there he is, and Kristen.
What's up?
So we're all here, guys. So this is going to be essentially our new show that we've done. Me and Robert have done 2 episodes so far. So we've done what I forgot. The first one was like about the gun control stuff, I think.
Yeah, that one came out shortly after the initial shootings.
Yeah.
That had taken place in El Paso and Dayton, and there was a lot of talk about violence in video games affecting people, and so we kind of had a good conversation about that.
Yeah, and then I forgot the second episode. Second episode was all like Avengers and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Because that's where we figured out I can't say Utabu.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, no, I still can't.
Uatu.
There you go.
Do you guys notice whenever we're talking, we excessively like agreeing with each other? We're like, yes.
So guys, this is going to be season 1, episode 3 now, and
Talkin Geek.
So we thought we'd bring you some news that's happened so far these last about a week and a half or so. So we've had a couple of actual deaths lately. Who died or forgot already? Star Trek was.
Scroll up to the top.
Yeah, this is kind of what bites with. Why is there so much news? Apparently, there's more news than I thought.
Yeah.
So.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine death. Aaron Eisenberg. He played Nog. He died.
No, that was sad. I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of Star Trek though. So.
I'm the Star Trek fan. If anybody.
So.
Over here.
I mean, I love the original series, and I've seen all of the recent movies.
Yeah. I've seen everything.
But I have not watched any of the series after the original series. So I actually, this character was one that I knew more just from pop culture references because he's got such a weird look. He's that alien dude with his head looks like cinnamon buns or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I saw the picture when he passed away. So that's sad. He wasn't that old.
He's 50.
He's 50.
Yeah. So.
I think the only Star Trek I haven't seen is Star Trek Discovery that came out recently, a year ago or 2 years ago.
That's the J.J. Abrams ones, right?
Just because I have such a busy schedule.
No. Those are movies. There's a show out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show. Yeah, I haven't watched that.
We also had Sid Hage? Yeah. I don't know if I said that right.
Haig, I think.
Someone will say, Aaron, you butchered that.
Yep,
sorry.
Probably. Don't let
Devil's
Aaron
Rejects.
say names.
But supposedly he was recovering now, and he was doing good, so I guess something went south.
Probably.
But he had an unexpected fall or slip or something to that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 110% sure.
Well, his wife didn't really clarify, though, what had happened.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
She didn't have to.
So,
well,
yeah, she doesn't.
It's
privacy.
Of course they don't have to, but yeah.
Exactly.
So.
But, it happens. It's sad. We had a couple other deaths, but we felt that, those are the 2 more recent ones, of course, so we thought we'd comment on those more than anything.
R.I.P.
So, hope y'all will be missed, all of you. The other thing, of course, we had on Friday was Batman Day. So we posted a couple of pictures of that, and thought we'd lead with some news about that. So now we actually have the new Batman movie with what's-his-face, Robert Ice Sparkle.
Pattinson.
Oh, it's Patterson. I thought it was Ice Sparkle.
Pattinson.
So Robert Ice Sparkle.
Twilight.
Hey,
he's what?
He's actually a really good actor. I know he's known for the Twilight movies, which I have not seen. But if you haven't caught any of his other work, you definitely should. He's a very talented actor who's done a lot of really good work. Some of you may even know him as Cedric in Harry Potter. You talked to me about Harry Potter, and I'm with you all day. But he's a very, very talented actor playing Batman, and they've recently announced that they're in talks with a couple of actors to join him in the movie. Jeffrey Wright, who has been in James Bond, and I think he was in maybe Westworld, I think on the HBO series. He's been in quite a few things.
Did you watch that recently?
I did not watch that.
Oh.
No, sorry.
He's like, nah.
Derailed the conversation.
Sorry.
Really?
No, but he's in talks to be Commissioner Gordon. And then Jonah Hill in talks to play the Riddler, who we have not seen on the big screen since Jim Carrey's ill-fated attempt at Riddler in the lovely Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Jeffrey Wright and Jonah Hill. What do you guys think about these casting rumors?
Jonah Hill, I think, will be a good call. I think Riddler-wise, he'd be really good. Someone commented it'd be cool to see him as the Penguin, because he's already kind of a bigger guy, but he's lost weight, it looked like.
He's probably
So-
I can see like Josh Gad as the Penguin. That would be a pretty
cool.
cool casting. I can see that.
But yeah, I think he can do the Riddler. I think he'll be able to sell that one. Jeffrey Wright, I think it's a good choice for Commissioner Gordon. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like the guy from Christian Bale and
The only
Christian
thing
I did
Nolan
like
ones.
that guy. I forget his name.
The only thing
forgot
that
his name,
matters
too.
with Jeffrey Wright is whether or not he can grow a beautiful mustache.
Oh yeah,
Because that's Commissioner Gordon's got to have the mustache. It was J.K. Simmons. That's the person.
Oh, is that the one? Okay.
He's J. Jonah Jameson. It's the same guy.
Is it? No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
I need to see
We got our other
pictures.
producer right here. He's like, yeah, it is.
I promise you. Do not challenge me on my movie knowledge.
I'm not looking it up right now because I'm the only one in front of a computer.
You go ahead and look it up. I feel very confident in my answer. I know that it was J.K. Simmons.
Dang, he got like thin and like short. Then it looks
I want
like.
everybody
So-
to know that I was the only one that remembered the actual date of Batman Day, even though he knows more about Batman than I do.
I
mean,
still
both know
think
more
it might
Batman
have been
than you.
Saturday. You guys are referencing that
No,
it was
it was Friday the 20th.
It was
It
the
was Friday
Friday.
the 20th.
You say so.
I believe I just said so.
She did.
Say
She did.
so.
I did.
So I don't know. I think it's a good choice though for everyone who they're portraying right now for
Yeah.
it. So I'm curious about Robert. I know he has done other movies. So
Yeah, I'm
obviously they saw something.
I'm definitely looking forward to a new take on Batman. I didn't mind Ben Affleck in the role, but I was not a fan of those movies. Batman v Superman and Justice League. I felt like DC really kind of dropped the ball. So, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with Pattinson, and I'm sure they're looking to do several movies. It'll be interesting to see what time in his life they're looking at doing this. If this is like a I'm becoming Batman type movie like Batman Begins was, or is it I've already been Batman? So I'm interested to see what it is.
Yeah, I mean it'll be good. I really think it has a good chance of doing well. Like I agree with you. Ben Affleck was okay, but I didn't like that he didn't get fit for the role. Like you could tell he had a beer belly.
I just don't like
that.
Zack Snyder's interpretation of DC characters. I'll be honest. I didn't like his Superman. I didn't like his Batman. I just don't like the way he portrays those characters. He turned Batman into a killer, which is not what Batman is.
And that's true.
Superman, was brooding and dark, and that's not Superman. So it was his vision. He's allowed to do that. Those movies made quite a bit of money. But I am not sad to see that version of the DC universe go away. I really loved Wonder Woman, and I'm excited for the sequel coming out next year. But that was obviously set in a different time frame. So we'll see what happens if they try and use Flash to create like alternate timelines and make the movies play along. It seems like what they've kind of said is they're going to go back to their old formula of not tying things together, which is where they got in a little bit of trouble as they tried to mimic the MCU, and they didn't really have creative control. Someone like Kevin Feige doing that. So I think they're going back to their previous plan of just making movies that kind of stand alone and are separate. Seemed to work pretty well for them for Wonder Woman, for Aquaman, for Shazam. Shazam was a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens next.
I do have a question for you.
You have a question. Good.
Since you're the movie guy,
It was Gary Oldman.
Do you know?
Gary Oldman was in the Christian Bale Batman.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, she mentioned the other one.
Oh.
J.K. Simmons was the one that was
Okay.
in the Ben Affleck. He was in Justice League, and that
Oh,
was
I don't
J.K.
remember.
Simmons.
See, that's how bad I remember. I don't remember that. That's where I was lost because I was talking about Christian Bale. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
no, that's Gary Oldman, who is like amazing.
He is. Anyway,
Sorry.
So, Twilight dude. What's his name?
Robert
Pattinson.
Yep.
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles Pattinson. Do you know? I don't know, but do you know how long is he contracted for? Is it just one movie, 2 movies?
They haven't announced it,
Okay.
but I'm sure that they signed him up for a multi-picture deal.
That's what I was thinking.
And they'll see what happens. If the first one's very successful, if it's received well and makes good money, I'm sure they'll keep making them. And if it doesn't, they'll probably reboot it again because that's what DC does.
DC likes to reboot everything.
I mean, so does Marvel.
Renowned
There's
for-
been 3 Spider-Man. There were 3 Spider-Man movies, reboots in 10 years. So
Hey, 2 of them were Sony though. It wasn't Marvel.
No, I liked the Spider-Man movies when they're the first one.
Some of them.
Yeah.
The first 2 were good.
Are you talking about Toby?
Yeah, I liked them.
The movies were good. Tobey was not
Did
the
you not
best
like him?
Spider-Man.
I didn't say he was best. I just said I liked him.
Okay, let's hash this
Okay,
out
hold on.
right here. Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker, was a bad Spider-Man.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield was a bad Peter Parker, was a good Spider-Man.
Yes.
Tom
I'll give
Holland is a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man. There you go.
There you go.
I can live with that because that's
I
true.
can live with that too.
I mean, because like the only thing they did wrong with Andrew Garfield is they made him like more punkish.
Yeah, it was like
And I
a
was like, what?
skater bro who like
I was waiting to hear Avril Lavigne
Yeah.
the whole time he was on that.
it was
Like
so weird.
the whole movie.
I was actually hoping. I was hoping that we would get another like Elektra style Evanescence, fight sequence. Bring me to life. And you're just like
The whole
oh,
Daredevil
God.
thing with it. Oh my god, no.
That was terrible. That's right. That was in the Daredevil.
That was Daredevil.
And then she still got a spin-off after that. How did that happen?
No one talks about Elektra. No one talks about it. Poor Elektra. And I like the character. I love Elektra. She's
Elektra's
actually
a great
really cool.
character. I loved the way they used her in the Netflix show. I
Yeah.
thought that she was portrayed very well. But no, Jennifer Garner, you are not my Elektra.
No, she's not.
And I love you.
So-
I love Alias, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Jennifer Garner. I love you.
He's like, don't hate me, please.
But
He's telling people
no,
don't hate him.
I'm sure she regrets taking that role.
Oh, I'm sure. Just like what Halle Berry with Catwoman.
Yeah.
I mean, that was terrible too.
Yeah. How did we get
That
on the
was
topic of
I don't know.
terrible comic
Anyways, but it's a good segue into the next thing though, because DC has their whole Arrow universe,
Yep.
and Arrow actually is coming out on October 15th. It comes out, and it's the
I will
last season
not
coming
be
out.
watching. I've never watched a single
I
episode.
will be watching it because I actually like Arrow.
I like Arrow.
So
I'm glad you guys do. I just never got into
So
it.
like if
Got
I
my
watch
phone
it, are you
going
gonna
on.
like peek in and
Sure.
nah, he's just like
Whatever.
whatever,
I was
guys.
like, no, I'm not gonna
No,
watch
you know
it.
what we're gonna have to do though is when the crossover event starts, we all need to get together and watch it.
Stephen
The
Amell.
crossovers. I love Stephen Amell. I've met him twice, I think now, once or twice. He's actually a really nice guy.
Seems like it.
We were talking about his wine company that he actually owns.
Nice.
So, but speaking of which, so last season of Arrow, there's only about 8 episodes in this season. I've noticed about half the cast isn't returning. The other thing though, this is leading into the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and with that being said, we first have a spin-off, which is going to be Batwoman. I forgot the girl's name that plays her.
Cassidy something.
Cassandra Cain is the person, but I can't remember the actress's name. So that's gonna drive me nuts later, guys. But she's reprising. She's gonna come out as
TV guy. Sorry.
Yeah, she's gonna come out. That's true. She's gonna come out as Batwoman again, reprise her role from last season's Crisis. She's gonna get her spinoff. The cool thing is though, because we're getting Crisis on Infinite Earths, we're getting everybody coming back. So first of all, they announced Smallville return for Clark Kent and Lois Lane, Lois. So that's gonna be Tom Welling and Erica Durant. They're both returning to reprise their roles essentially, and I'm guessing they're gonna be Earth, whatever channel number that they were on, or whatever station number maybe. They're gonna probably do something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it CW?
Well, they don't own Smallville. I don't think they had Smallville, did they?
I think it was
Did they?
originally
I
on
think it was
CW.
CW,
a long
yeah.
So
time
maybe
ago.
they'll use their call sign or something. Because I know
Yeah, I don't know.
I used to watch
Barry,
that.
the old Flash from the original, was it 92 TV show or something like that?
Isn't
His-
he CW?
No, that was like
No.
ABC or NBC that originally owned it.
Oh.
But he's on CW now because he's part of the Flash universe.
Right.
But his universe is actually like
Where
universe
everyone's a
90,
speedster.
pretty much. Everyone just is a speedy. But like I think his Earth is Earth 92 because it's supposed to be the year the show originally came out.
There you
So
go.
that was kind of cool. I thought that was funny.
So maybe
Nice
they'll be like Earth 2001 or whenever Smallville
Yeah.
debuted. I don't know.
Something like that would be kind of cool. Like I hope they do something like that.
Another show I never watched.
Right? I've watched like 5 episodes of Smallville and that was it.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't into it. I've
Liked
tried
it.
it. I didn't like how they
Good.
portrayed Oliver Queen. I didn't like how they portrayed Cyborg, but I love the actor who played Cyborg. Too bad he kills himself later in life, but the poor guy. But yeah, like I don't know. I didn't like what they did to him.
I never got into it.
I watched like almost every single episode.
Good.
It's good though. I mean, it looks good. Brendan is plays the Atom on the CW show DC's Legends of Tomorrow now. Originally was on Arrow, is still playing Atom, but he's actually going to reprise his role from Superman
Right,
Returns.
Brandon Routh.
Brendan Roth, yeah. So he's
See,
coming back.
He was in a movie, so I know the
So you know that one. So you know that's Superman, but that's it. He doesn't know anyone else. So he's coming back though. So he plays the Atom, but they actually showed pictures. He's getting built again. He's been working out.
He's going to be Superman again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's a lot more surprises in store that they're not going to let us know about other characters that are coming back, other actors that are coming back. These are the ones that we know about so far.
The ones that have leaked, essentially, probably, or the ones that they want to throw out there to keep you like, yeah, you want to come watch this one, So that's like, I think it's cool. I think it's gonna be nice to have it.
They need to bring back the actors for the New Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Oh my God, dude!
How amazing would that be?
That would be freaking cool. I won't lie. I would like to see that.
I loved that show.
That was a good show. That one was really good, actually, for the time frame and everything. It was good. It was really good drama.
Episodic, like we're just here to have fun, kind of.
Exactly.
Terry Hatcher was Lois.
Was it? I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember who the dude was.
Dean
Cain.
Dean
Cain. That's it. So yeah, Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher.
So there's a thing out there. I don't know if you've ever seen it. So it's an old thing because it's Brendan Roth. I believe it's him. Was it Dean Cain you said?
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain. And then like one or two other Supermen. And the guy who voiced Superman in the animated cartoon, back in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
His son actually is also a voice actor. And he recently played Superman in the last couple of years in The Voice.
Nice.
So he's sitting in the car and with his son. His name's Tom something. I can't remember his last name now. It's escaping me. But they're sitting in the car together. Shut up. They're sitting in their car together, and his dad's like, "I'm proud of you, son. I'm passing the torch." He's like this whole little thing, right? Takes his son home, and instead of going home, he goes to the park. He's like, "What is this?" And it's all the Supermen. They're like, "Now you've become Superman."
Nice.
He's like, "I just played the voice." He's like, "No, you now accept his powers." And you see like DK with the cape on, and they have capes on. One of them's on an iPad. I'm like, "We must fly," and then they start running around with the iPad.
The important thing to note here is that Christopher Reeve is Superman. All the others are just pretenders.
What about the one that was before Christopher Reeves?
George Reeves?
Was that the serial Superman?
Yeah, George Reeves.
Yeah.
I never watched it. No, they're not.
No.
Christopher Reeve, George Reeves.
Yeah.
There's an S there. They are not.
Well, George Reeves killed himself too, right? Later on in life,
Correct.
I think.
Correct. Yep.
So.
And then Christopher Reeve eventually was paralyzed.
Yeah. Started walking again almost. They said before he died that he was moving.
I know. So, all I know is that that first original Superman movie, 1978, is the purest incarnation of the Superman character that has ever been on screen, and it's fantastic.
And the sad thing is, Brendan Roth is like considered the worst. Nobody likes that one.
Well, that's because he was just trying to imitate, and it's not his fault. They wanted him to do that, but it was supposed to be a continuation of the Christopher Reeve series.
Yeah.
And so he was supposed to be that character, like that same version of Superman, and so they wrote it. It was like they were asking him to mimic Christopher Reeve, and you put an actor in a box like that, it's not going to be good.
No, it never is.
And also, that movie was very brooding, and at least at the time it came out, we'd had a couple of Spider-Man movies, we'd had a couple of X-Men movies, we'd had Blade, so we were used to more of the action type of superhero movie, because those original Superman movies are not action-driven. Like, in that original 1978 movie, you don't see Superman show up literally for the first hour. It's Clark Kent up until like an hour in. The first action sequence isn't till like an hour 10.
Yeah.
And like he literally doesn't hit anyone during the entire movie. Like it is not an action movie at all. And so that's what they made with Superman Returns, is they made another kind of, slow kind of, and it just was the wrong time. It was like 2005. I mean, it was right in that time frame, 2004, 2005. It was just the wrong time. We expected action from our superheroes and our superhero movies, and so
that was with Kevin Spacey, right? Was Lex Luthor in that one?
Correct.
I loved him as Lex Luthor because he was so cynical, and I loved that. Like I loved him playing Lex because I could see Lex Luthor being that way. Yeah. How he treated the old lady in the beginning. To at the end when he's in Lois's face, say his name, just say his name, and he was just like, you could tell he snapped right there.
Kevin Spacey maybe not acting all that much since he apparently is an asshole in real life.
I mean, I believe that, so we'll see. So the other thing is like we want to talk about because there wasn't a whole heck of a lot of other news that came out. Robert was saying, "What are we reading right now? Like, what are you?
Well, I mean, just like what have you read or watched recently that's like geeky? What are you into right now? Like that you're excited about. Like,
first then.
Yeah, I mean, I recently picked up, and I've never read it before, and I'm excited to get into it. It's Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. So I've just started it. I'm very early on. I really am only like maybe one issue in. I've got the omnibus, but only like one issue in. I'm enjoying it so far. So see what happens there. I've also been catching up on Before Watchmen, which I think was released like maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I love the original Watchmen series, so this was like a series of prequel comics about the different characters that are in Watchmen and stuff. And so some of them have been better than others, but been enjoying that.
With that, have you?
Public library.
Yeah, she wants to plug in the public library right now,
your
guys.
libraries.
So.
Save our libraries.
Let me ask you this: did you read the original Watchmen comic by Alan Moore?
The original Watchmen? Yeah. That was the first comic I ever read, and I loved it. Okay. It is one of my favorite comics, probably my favorite graphic novel of all time.
Okay.
The complexity of that story and just the way it weaved all the characters together, the different characters, the moral ambiguity of all of them except Rorschach is really, I think, I just absolutely love that story. If you have never read Watchmen, you need to. It's amazing.
Well, it's certainly better than what I'm reading.
What are you reading and watching? So what geeky thing are you doing? And we've got Frank over here laughing at us too.
Right now I'm reading a life insurance and health insurance book, so it's definitely better than what I'm reading.
That's
not
geeky.
Quite geeky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nerd.
I'm not really reading anything right now. So.
Okay. So you're not watching.
Sucks.
So you haven't watched anything either?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So I guess we'll skip over you on that one then.
We watched Tangled.
I've been
Tangled, that's good.
I tried to do something geeky this week.
What'd you try to do?
And I restarted playing a Legend of Zelda game. So.
Oh, you know what? One thing you did do that I remember, you bought the Wii U Zelda. You bought that one.
Yes.
That was kind of like the big.
That's what I.
Yeah.
One of the games for that one.
So there you go.
Well, that's the new one that I just bought.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch. That came out September 20th, which was also Batman Day.
Oh my god. Batman beats Link anyway. Batman could take out Link any day of the week.
Anyway.
Not Spider-Man. He doesn't beat Spider-Man.
Batman's got a plan for everyone.
But
remember, if you give Batman time, you got to give Spider-Man time. It's Spider-Man's top 10 in like intelligence.
I understand. Batman has a plan for everyone. Batman has a plan for literally everyone.
Nah.
Anyhow, that's sitting in my Switch pouch, getting ready to be played after I finish.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have one
insurance
day.
stuff this week.
Batman v Spider-Man. It's our new,
oh yeah,
Talkin Geek.
We're gonna make that to a show. So,
we'll have to formulate arguments on behalf of our favorite characters.
Right. So I guess for me, I haven't read anything recently. I wanted to pick up. I need to finish, and I've read most of it. World War Z. I haven't finished the last chapter of that one. So I have it. I just haven't picked it up, and I keep telling myself I need to reread it. But I actually have been playing Gears 5 because they got rid of the Gears of War itself title. They just call it Gears 5 now. Been playing Borderlands 3, Sea of Thieves. I'm back onto that with another friend of mine. I have a lot I want to talk about with Borderlands and Gears, but I probably will just wait for maybe another video or another little show. We'll talk a little review about those two because I've been having some issues with it. One thing I will say though real quick is that with Gears you have your casual play, which is your quick play list, and then you have your ranked matches. I'm mad. I don't know if I've told you this. Freaking no joke, every time you can go look at my record, 1 or 2 on quick play. Every time I'm number 1 or number 2. I even got MVP a few times. I'm going 15-6, 19-9. Go look at my record, sir. But every time I play ranked, I'm bottom 2. Every time I'm so I'm too good for the quick play, but I'm not good enough for ranked. So I'm kind of at that midway point right now. I need to start cracking down on it and getting better.
Mm-hmm. So at least you posted a place.
A what?
A place mark, at least you could see your name on there.
Yeah, I mean you could see when you some of the videos I've recorded, you can see my kill streaks and stuff too. So we got some videos of that.
At least you're not me.
No.
And at least you're not.
There will be a couple of games coming out.
I am
videos,
excellent at video games that are about sports.
I mean, shooting is a sport,
I I mean,
I'm just saying that's a good point.
Sure. If you find me a game where it's skeet shooting, I'll probably do all right in that one. But Battle Waves first person shooter,
No, you're done.
You guys can watch me play terribly.
Shooting in the
So we got
hunting is a sport, I would say.
And one of the other videos we've done, we have another friend here, Frank, and he's here right now. What about you? You do anything? Let me see. He's off camera, guys, but you can at least hear him.
I just finished binge watching all the Transformer movies again.
Really?
Did you start with 1986's animated Transformers?
I did.
Where it rips your heart out when Optimus Prime dies?
Okay.
Don't let me watch it,
I've
I'll
been
cry.
watching the Gen 1.
Nice.
Nice, man.
Started with that and then just finished the last one. And
Nice.
I also binge watched The Boys.
Oh yeah,
I haven't
Boys.
finished that one yet. The Boys.
Yeah.
That was good.
I started it because of you, and I haven't finished it yet. Or you and another friend told me about it.
Yeah.
And Bright, is it Bright?
Oh,
Bright
Bright's
Burn?
good.
That's the one that's like the twist kind of. It's not officially like basically if Superman were evil, but that's basically what it is, right?
I wanted to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
It's like it's the
Is
theory.
that on Netflix?
No,
No,
it's
it's-
Redbox.
Is it? Is
Red
it based
Box.
off like
just came out,
the
yeah.
the comic,
all
right?
red.
Yeah,
where
it's-
he lands in Russia essentially,
Red
kind of.
Box.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the Red Sun.
Yeah.
He's,
Okay.
he just goes crazy.
It goes crazy. You need to read that one too if you haven't yet. The Red Sun.
Red Sun. I really want to. Actually,
That
it's
was
on.
good.
I think it's on the DC app. The
Is
DC. Whatever
The
their app
streaming
is
thing
called.
is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they have that
Oh.
comic on there, and I definitely want to read that one because I've heard a lot about it. I mean, it's basically the premise is instead of landing in Kansas, Kal-El lands in communist Russia.
Yes.
And so he's raised to basically be a Soviet agent. And what would the rest of the world do if the most powerful being on the planet was a communist?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's an
They
interesting
just went
read.
with that,
Very
didn't they?
interesting premise. It's one of those Elseworld stories. It's very interesting. I can definitely see that being a good read. So yeah, I will get to that eventually.
That
I'm
one's
starting to
good.
get more and more into comics. I'm liking that. Pick them up at the library or through the DC app or things like that. I'm trying to catch up on some more recent stuff because most of what I've read before is mostly just like graphic novels and stuff. So looking to get into a few more.
Well, that'd be good. You'll enjoy those. So just to let you all know those who haven't seen or heard of us talk about Frank, he's helped us with some camera work. He's helped us with some videos that I will be uploading later. I've been working on a lot of videos, guys. So if you see a bunch of what, this is what I deal with. I deal with this.
Working on it. Edited.
I need to show you some videos, by the way, that are edited that you need to see and approve them. So.
Okay, I will look at them
So.
and attempt to approve them.
You're
later.
supposed to be our producer too, ma'am.
Okay.
So
Next.
come on. So the other thing too, guys, like I said, they're kind of a quick touch on everything. Nintendo Switch has released the Switch Lite, and it's essentially a smaller version of the Nintendo Switch. No Joy-Cons. The controllers are built into the console. It's a little bit smaller, extra battery life. It ranges anywhere from 3 to 7 hours. One thing that has come up actually in the last few days, I want to say, if you go check the Reddit post, you'll actually be able to see it, is the drifting's back. So I don't know if you had it with your Switch yet, but the Joy-Con on the, I believe it's the right-hand side, will actually, if you just touch it a certain way, it'll start drifting, and you'll just start moving all on your own.
Mine's perfect.
Mine is too. So apparently you can send it to Nintendo for the original Joy-Cons, they'll fix it. Or if you're good enough, you can open up the controller. It's literally a piece of styrofoam. You just put this little piece of styrofoam in there, bam, it fixes the whole issue. Well, the Switch Lite
Somebody didn't drink their coffee while they were putting it together.
pretty much. Essentially, the Switch Lite is suffering the same problem, even though there's no Joy-Con. So there's actually, I forgot the guy's name, opened up one of the consoles to see what it looked like on the inside. It's the same build as the Nintendo Switch. So that's why it's suffering from the same issues as the actual Switch itself.
You would think
So-
they would have addressed that.
I think they would have fired John by now for that.
Right?
Styrofoam.
John, can you fix this issue?
I just don't even know why they made a Nintendo Lite to begin with, because 3 hours, that's the same as almost
It's-
my Nintendo Switch.
It's a little bit more than the Switch, actually. Not by much, but it probably gives you about another hour, hour and a half. It's
Hey, I know
Take your
more,
charger with you.
I know why they made it.
more money.
Money.
They want money.
Well,
It's the
I think-
Nintendo PSP.
Yeah, exactly. I think the main reason, honestly, is why they did this was to finally kill off the 3DS. There's been no new games really coming out for 3DS. The 3DS is pretty much dead in the water. I think it's sold in its lifetime about 75 million units, I believe I heard last. So that you can double check the numbers on that one as well. But I think the problem is that they've slowly dwindled down how many 3DSs they've sold, 2DSs, 2DS XL. You know, they keep coming out with these different models for the 3DS, but it's not going anywhere. They're not selling as much. They're not doing as well. I think they're trying to double down on the Switch. So those who don't want a home console now have a portable console again. It's a little bulky. You might lose the Joy-Con maybe. You know, do you want to deal with it? It actually, the other thing with the Switch Lite, if you don't know, it doesn't even have a docking station. Like Kristen said, it's not truly a plug into your TV console at all, like your Switch. It's going to be all handheld. You're walking around with it.
But there is USB-Cs to HDMI, is there not?
There is, and on that note, I don't know if they work though, because I don't know if that port is just a charging port. So I don't know if you can send data out to that port, because if it doesn't send data, it doesn't matter. True. I don't think it does send data though, so it's only going to be able to receive the charge. So if you want to try it, let me know. That'd be cool.
Short out your machine just for our show.
Do you know?
I mean, I'll give you
report back and let us know.
Let us know that you break it, because we're not going to break it.
If you break it, you buy it.
I mean, you already bought it, so good luck.
Buy it again.
I mean, call Nintendo and say, "Hey, no one told me this was going to happen." So that's about pretty much all we got on the Nintendo Switch Lite right now. It's fairly new. It's just come out. They actually have, I think, blue, a Pikachu color, I think a red one, right? Or something like that. I don't remember what colors are out there. There's a Pikachu one, though.
That's probably the one that's
it's $100 less than the Switch. So I think the Switch is $299, and I believe the Lite is $199, I believe. So, if you want a cheaper console.
That's not a bad price. $1.99? Yeah, I mean,
$1.99, yeah.
You got a couple bucks in your pocket, right?
Go with that.
Is that?
Hey, you have a couple bucks.
Is that now? When you say $1.99, that's not.
No, I mean $199.
Oh.
You rephrase. $199 and probably 99 cents. That's rephrase that.
Change there.
I wish I would jump change.
It's only $1.99, you know.
Only $1.99. 99.
Plus tax, which is probably gonna be like freaking $30.
Well, it depends what state you live in.
It's just one of those lovely marketing tools, rather than saying just $200, because we don't like that too. That too,
Yeah.
It's just there's something about it mentally. I'm not a fan of that. So $1.99, that's the point.
So we are live, and like I said, it's all gonna be on our podcast, which will be up tomorrow. But just we have Mingo. You said you heard the Switch Lite has drifting right now, and it does. So they have already. That's what we just said. I don't know if that's an older comment, but yeah, it is drifting. That is a problem that they have, just like the Nintendo Switch had.
Drifting like the cars.
Essentially, yeah. Like you'll drift like that.
Sweet.
So.
There's
also an issue with the Y button. So that's gonna be fun.
Well, why?
Is it like
exactly? So many jokes right there. I can't remember the exact issue with the Y button. Either the response on it or it's sticking. I can't remember. If someone wants to comment on that, I don't know 100% what happened to it, but that is an issue right now.
But there's issues in general.
Yeah, there's always issues with consoles. So I want to point out, like, we all see the consoles. We always hear the bad, because that's easy enough for us to talk about. But every generation has roughly a 10% failure rate. So the PS3 had a 10% failure rate with the yellow ring of death. Microsoft 360 had the red ring of death, which affected actually about 50% or so of their consoles. Yes, that was a big one. So if you're old enough to remember that.
I feel old now.
I got the red ring of death like 4 times on the same console, and I just kept fixing it.
I mean, I fixed mine. Mine only happened twice, and I fixed it both times. The N64 actually had some issues with, I believe it was the cartridges, back in the day. So
Mine's
I
perfect.
think it was
never had an issue.
how it read it or something. I can't remember.
Sega never
But-
had problems.
Sega never had problems.
Sega
Sure.
Hey man, are they still around?
Sega had a few problems.
It was the same.
Like their upcoming movie that is about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That they had to delay another year or two, I think, right?
Yeah, that looked
Um,
awful. It still does. It still looks awful.
Dude, yeah, I mean, Ringo's commenting to you, man. Yeah, I'm glad that we haven't gotten the light yet. I want them to fix that issue. And the problem is they probably won't, because it's the same build as the Switch. And since the Switch is an easy little foam piece, I don't know if they're just going to say, hey, we'll send you your entire console back so we could fix it, instead of just your Joy-Con.
They'll just stick
Yeah.
another Joy.
Well, there's no Joy-Con on the Switch Lite. Remember? So they actually have to open it up and put the styrofoam
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll see.
I'm gonna send you a
But-
screwdriver and a piece of foam.
Here you go. You know what? I would take that
If
because it'd
you
be
know
quicker.
what, if Nintendo was owned by IKEA, they would.
Oh my god, that's terrible. That's so terrible.
Do it
It would be a
yourself.
little Nintendo.
Do it yourself. You can do it. We don't want to pay to fix
They'll
it.
just send you a piece of paper
Oh my
with
God.
with like hieroglyphs on it because there's never any words on there.
A
And
bunch
you
of
cannot-
ugly dots on
it's like you
top.
can't
Right.
understand at all what you're supposed to do. It's like this picture doesn't make any
No,
sense.
it doesn't make any at all. So the last little bit of news, because we're going to cut this off at about the 40. We do want to talk about, like I said, Gears of War 5 came, or Gears 5, let me rephrase. Borderlands 3 came out. Was there any other big game that came out? I don't think, or Blasphemous came out, you said?
Yeah.
See, I don't know anything about
Or it's
Blasphemous.
coming out. It came out. It's coming.
That one I don't know, so I'm not going to talk about that one, guys, sorry.
Yeah.
But,
when,
Gears
when
5
does the new Avengers game come out? Isn't that coming out soon?
I think it already came out.
Or did it come out?
the Marvel Ultimate Alliance one?
Yeah,
no. Like the new Avengers game.
Oh, the one made by
that-
Sony.
Yeah.
Hasn't come out yet. I think it comes out first quarter next year, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or it may come out this last quarter.
Okay.
That one I'm iffy on still.
They released like a 20-minute spot that was like the story mode thing, like basically the prequel, and I watched the whole thing and I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
We both
I don't know either. I didn't like
I've only
the.
played Marvel Legos.
See, I've played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. I saw this one. Wasn't sure about the artwork where they were going for
Yeah,
it,
it
so I'm
looks
kind of iffy on it. But the problem right now too, like with that I'm seeing, this is something I've talked about other gamers with the last few days, especially with Borderlands 3.
You talked.
There's, I hate you.
He's talking to a lot of people, actually.
So,
They're not
like
talking
Borderlands.
back or listening to him, but he's talking to a lot of
I hate
people.
both of these people. That and Frank's nodding his head over here. I hate all of you. Just saying.
Cool, bro.
All y'all.
How can we have
So-
a food pick on somebody?
I hate you. So, Borderlands 3 actually has quite a few glitches, essentially, with it. And one of them being, like, if you hit an enemy certain ways, it'll launch you straight up in the air. You're going to be above everything, just launched up there. Some people have been playing around with this. Huh?
Like Minecraft?
Kind of. So you're essentially going to fly straight up off the map.
Can you kill
And-
people while you're up there?
Nope, you're stuck up there. And hopefully the game realizes you're up there and starts bringing you back down.
That sounds
So-
less than ideal.
Some people have made some videos because it does essentially bring you down eventually. So he was able to do like a hammer from space essentially. So he pulled out his like sword or hammer or whatever it was, and he smashed the ground with it and killed the enemy. He just happened to hit an
That
enemy.
would suck. You're like the last guy
Yeah.
there. And it's like, God.
So it has its issues, and so we were talking. And you know what's sad about these big AAA games, because 2K made Borderlands 3. Essentially, the Coalition, who is owned by Microsoft, made Gears 5. You get these games, you pre-order them, you play the betas, you do all that, and still you're getting glitch after glitch after glitch, and you're $60. Eventually we'll fix it. I mean, the biggest culprit of all of this is Anthem, who was made by EA. Their player base is gone because they took so long to fix all of their issues. People, you can go hop in a server right now, there may be like 5 people with you. And I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm really not. Like, I think I hopped on 3 or 4 months ago, and there was literally 10 people in that server. I was like, cool, I found all 10 people as I walked around the whole world.
EA
Couldn't find
sucks
anything.
at making games now. They haven't always, but
they
they
do.
do now.
Well, the problem is with loot boxes. And the other thing is they're getting sued possibly for that because of gambling. And now more and more countries are cracking down on loot crates and loot boxes that EA is going to possibly have to rethink how they handle it.
Well, yeah, it's basically, it is basically gambling, and obviously that means it's underage gambling.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So they're still supposedly, like, I guess trying to figure out if it is considered gambling or not. There was at one point, if you looked at, I think it's an older video, and it's possibly for Get Your Geek On. I think I commented on this when I was doing that one. The Mario Kart game for your phone has a loot crate box or something like that, and you were only like 1% chance of getting like Bowser or somebody. I forgot who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's not like if I get 100 boxes, I'm going to get one.
Sure.
It's 1% every time you open that box.
Yeah.
So it's like you may never ever get the one little item it was. Right, and that's why I think it's dumb. It's like if you're going to give me a 1%, at least say if I open 100 boxes, I'll get 1 in that 100. That I think I could live with a little bit more.
Sure.
Versus 1% every time you open a box. Shit.
Yeah, that's a totally different mathematical equation, which I was told there would be no math. So.
Yeah, I don't want to do the math behind that. Essentially,
it's not fun.
Really, no.
Also,
is there a math major out there?
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, guys, like I said, we're going to try to keep this about 40 minutes, and it's been about that. DLC play. Oh, real quick, commenting on Ringo. Loot boxes, DLC, and paying $60 for the game sucks. Yeah, it does. You're essentially paying $60 for the meat, and they're going to charge you $10 for the bun, another $10 for the lettuce, the tomatoes, everything else. And that's what they're doing with all the DLC. You know, hey, here's a $60 game. By the way, our season pass is another $60.
Right.
We got $120 off of you.
Well, and it's one of those things too, where if you're, one of those people that wants to be competitive with it, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't not spend additional money because otherwise you would have to spend so much time in there that you wouldn't have anything else to do.
And that's very true. Like Rainbow Six Siege, I got really good at it.
Lower.
It is.
Yep.
Well,
which is why there is possible legal action coming against them because basically there's it's unfair or I don't know what to call it, but it's practices that are unethical, I guess.
Yeah.
And certainly are targeting younger people and
because I think even their sports games like
the sports
2K,
games
you have to buy the packs.
Who was it?
Yeah, there's all kinds.
Pay for your player.
Pretty much everything.
And they were doing like for one of their 2K games, I think it was the basketball one.
2K16, 17.
I think so. For your phone, they were doing like you could buy the character for $40 or $50. They're like, that's the price of the game. Why am I going to spend that same amount for whoever the character was or the athlete was? Essentially,
LeBron James.
So. Quick shout out for everyone that's in the chat though. I just want to say hi to everybody. I don't know if you're still here. Adam, I still see you. Terry, thank you for being here. Paco Rodriguez.
I love that.
Terry, Oliver, Ringo. Thank you all for being here. Jerry Hernandez. Jay, if you're in here, hi Jay, because I don't know if you're in here. So those are a few people I can see. Definitely guys, always leave a comment. Let us know you're here because it's hard for me to see exactly who's here and who's not because I'm looking at like 2 monitors.
Yeah. And you guys can see, if you making comments throughout the video, we might address them. We might talk about it a little bit.
I blurred out. I'm gonna get off my camera.
Some of the conversation. So.
I blurred like my camera went like, what the hell are you doing?
Way to go. Well,
it's back.
You broke your camera.
I did because I was leaning close, and I was trying to look at the other screen. So I have one screen. Random comment. I have one screen on my left, one screen in front of me. So I have to lean to look at the other screen. So if y'all see me do that, that's why. So sorry about that, guys. Hopefully next week we'll have this situated. I can have a little picture or something back here for you guys instead of just the darkness. Unless that's a reflection of my heart. Maybe that's why it's black. That makes sense now.
Maybe you should keep it that way.
Getting a lot of argument from this side of the table.
I really am. Look at this, guys. They're arguing how dark and cold and miserable my life. I hate you guys. And Frank over here.
I zoned out after that.
Thanks.
Like,
I've known you longer, and you left me hanging.
I love
So anyway,
that you
guys,
were over there
so-
like, let me make this comment. I'm sure they'll save me and rescue me from this. Nope, we're just like,
Nope,
yeah,
let me die.
That
Let me drown.
That might be accurate.
Even
It might be
everybody's
their
like,
reflection.
No. And I agree with you, Ringo. It has ruined FIFA, Madden, and 2K. Like, a lot of their games with the DLC, the loot boxes, all that stuff has really ruined a lot of the sports games. And hopefully they'll realize that, and they'll come back around. But on that note, guys, again, last couple seconds, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Definitely make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, or if you're on Mixer, if you're on Facebook, whatever you're on, guys, make sure you definitely subscribe to us so that way you can see it. This new show will start at 7 p.m. every Tuesday at Central Time. And lasts till about like 7:30, 7:45, depending how much news we get.
Check out some other videos on YouTube too.
Yeah, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can go to bit.ly/Geeks of the Web is our original channel. You can also go to youtube.com/official Get Your Geek On, and you can actually watch a lot of other videos there from the old show leading to this one. So we will be, essentially this will be our new one for both channels, guys. There'll be some content exclusive on both, just depending what we end up doing. On that note, again, guys, just make sure you comment. Make sure we know you're here. Again, thank you everybody who is here, and I hope everyone has a great day.
And also let us know what you guys want.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything you want to hear about, or if there's a certain kind of show you want. We can definitely look into it. There's going to be some other shows coming out later.
Any big topics that you guys are interested in, shoot us a message, and We can try and address it. Any questions that you ask throughout the next week.
If you want to see us play any board games,
anything
video
catches
games.
your eye, we'll talk about it maybe on Talkin Geek. Give you a little shout out and maybe answer your question. Just kind of depends. This is going to be a show where we talk about news, but we'll be talking about a lot of other stuff too.
I mean we kind of did that today. We went everywhere with it. So
we're kind of all over the place. We'll be making lots of geeky and pop culture references. Batman 66. I'm just going to throw it out there. Best Batman movie ever made.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
True.
It's like the serials, right? Yeah, we're good at those.
Hey.
No.
Adam West, best Batman ever.
Yeah, sure.
I had all the cards.
We'll go. Oh my gosh. So on that note, guys, again, if you weren't able to watch this live, of course, it'll be up later tonight. If you would like to have the podcast versions, that will be up tomorrow, probably morning, afternoon, it's around that time. So good, guys. Everyone have a great night and enjoy.
Talk to you later.